And we're back. If you're interested in learning more about this stuff, definitely click the link below. But this is about the shoulder, and one of the things that I hear all the time is, not all the time, I'm exaggerating, but I hear it a lot, is that chronic pain in the front of the shoulder. And most of the time, you're not a candidate for physical therapy, and that's even if the physical therapist knows about this kind of stuff. And they don't always. And that's not dissing physical therapists. Physical therapists have their specialty, and sometimes it's not in the shoulder. My expertise is in the shoulder. I had tons and tons of issues with my shoulder, and I tore it up back in what was that? That would have been 1989 is when I tore my shoulder to pieces. And it was a long road back to figure out. Basically, I went in search. I was in this massive pain, right? So I went in search of all these answers, just obsessively in search of all these answers. Almost everything that I have learned in my life and the only reason that I am even an expert of the shoulder is because I had this big issue. I had to go and solve it. I went and found a bunch of different mentors and read a bunch of different books and went to a bunch of different conferences, learned as much as I possibly could and dug into those things, and then found separated the wheat from the chaff sort of thing, and found some of the solutions along the way that then I was able to help other people with, which is a great thing. So why is there pain in the front of your shoulder, and why is it not actually the shoulder's fault that this is probably the thing? The pain probably isn't right here, and this sounds flu nonsense. It sounds like, oh, is that I'm going to go into some mental thing about how the pain is in your brain. Well, first of all, pain is in your brain. If we set a delusion and put a fake arm, like you put your arm through something, we put a fake arm over here, you will actually feel the sensation in the fake arm, kind of like phantom limb syndrome. So pain does reside in your brain. Your brain creates the pain to signal you to stop doing the thing that is causing the problem. Pain is a very important deal. So anyway, why do you feel that pain in the front of the shoulder? Well, there's a number of different reasons. We can talk about alignment. We can talk about arm delivery. We can talk about timing. We can talk about the rotator cuff, but it's probably not your rotator cuff, even though everybody wants to make it about the rotator cuff. We can talk about exercise, and we can talk about recovery. These are your basically 5 big groups that you're going to look at. Now, if you're looking at alignment, we want to look at where the collarbone sits. Does this hang really low? Does it hang really high? Most people, it hangs really low, kind of because we're at a desk all day, hanging out like this, sitting on our cell phones, driving, doing that kind of thing. So it just kind of beats up on it over time. This is a very, very common thing for that collarbone to hang low. If that collarbone hangs low, that means the shoulder blade is also hanging low. If both of them are hanging low, well, then we have a problem where you're putting pressure on that. There's a significant blood vessel and a significant nerve that runs right through here. That hangs too low, it's going to put pressure on that area. So the brain creates pain, or pain is created is probably a better way to say it, right in the front of the shoulder. Referral pain, and some of that is because of the sternocleidomastoid and the scalene over here. Some of it's in the subclavius also. These are just 3 different muscles that have a referral pain going down the front of the shoulder, the back of the arm, and sometimes numbness in the fingertips. So if you're having those 3 things, it's completely possible that shoulder blade is just hanging a little too low and putting pressures on that area. The thing is, what surgeons tend to do, they look at that and they think, oh, we need to create space. So what they do, they go in, if you've ever seen somebody with that slice mark right here, what that slice mark is where they went in and they removed that scalene muscle. The scalene muscle is one of your breather muscles. It attaches to that first rib right there. So they lift up on that. So they go in there and they remove that first rib and they remove that scalene, and it creates enough space for that shoulder blade to still hang low and not put pressure on that area and not create that, and it just takes away the pain in the front of the shoulder. Now, what we could do is we could just lift that shoulder up a little bit through some alignment. We could do some prone wall slides. We could do some mobility exercises to get that shoulder blade to upwardly rotate a little bit better. We could work on timing. We could work on a lot of different things just from the exercise in your warm-up and in your workouts, and then looking at how you do your day-to-day kind of thing in the process too, because ultimately we do have to look at the volume of the thing. So alignment is one of those, where the shoulder blade and the collarbone sit. Another point of the alignment is the posture that you're actually sitting in. Are you sitting in this posture that is a little bit less socially acceptable than the militant posture? Both of them carry their own significant obstacles, so to speak. So anyway, this is probably getting a little bit too factual, a little bit too into it. You don't need to know all the things that I'm, shoving down your throat right now to know about how to fix your shoulder. All I'm saying is that it's probably there's probably no damage on the front of your shoulder. This is probably fine. There's a lot of things that connect right here anyway. Your lat connects right here, your pec major and pec minor, your subscapularis, your There's just tons of stuff that just, it's a zone of convergence. It just all kind of connects right there. So the likelihood that you have a little irritation there is not absurd. But a lot of the time, if we just take a little while to just work to massage these muscles just a little bit, and I don't mean like massage them but you can, and exhale, that can bring a lot of relief to the area, but we still need to lift the shoulder blade up a little bit. So we're talking posture. This way too much, or this way too much, and then that shoulder blade can hang way too high or it can hang way too low. Both bring their own problems, and a lot of the time, if it's hanging too low, there's pain right in front of that shoulder. Now, we could also talk about arm delivery. There's a lot of things that go into delivering your arm where you want it to go, which is pretty wild to think about. There's no other joint quite like the shoulder. Like, you could say your hip is kind of like the shoulder, and it is, because it's a ball and socket, and basically the pelvis is just two shoulder blades snapped together and fixed into place. But with the hip, it's hanging up inside. It's really up in there. With the shoulder, it's just kind of floating on the outside. So you have this big arm, not necessarily my arm's all that big, but you have this significant limb, and it's just held on there by nothing. I mean, the end of your that shoulder blade is just a little tiny disc that hangs out there, and then that upper arm bone hangs up and just kind of floats on it. It's pretty wild. But anyway, my point of arm delivery is that if the cuff and the lat and the pec and the deltoid and the rhomboids and the trapezius aren't all doing what they're supposed to do at the right times, and then you also take into account all the alignment stuff that we talked about. So if the rib cage isn't doing, because that upper arm bone is not connected to that shoulder blade. That shoulder blade is hanging out on the rib cage. That rib cage is hanging out on the thoracic spine. If any one of these is a little off kilter, we ruin the domino effect that happens there, and then we can't actually deliver the arm where we want to go without pain, because pain is a signal that something is going wrong, right? And if you have questions for me about this, if I'm just way talking over everybody's head, please let me know in the comments. But shoulders are this extremely intricate process to get back to being to where you can actually do things. And the error that I see the most often is actually in the volume of the exercises that you do, or the volume that you just sit in all day. So if you consider that 10 seconds is one repetition, and you're on your phone for 90 minutes a day, and you're probably on your phone longer than 90 minutes, we've got a lot of repetitions there. We've got 90 times 60 times, what would that be? 90 times 6. For how many repetitions we're going to do that would do our shoulder in. I mean, now we're going to go into the gym and we're going to bench press how many people go into the gym and they bench press every time they go into the gym, and you wonder why your shoulder hurts. It's not necessarily ideal. It's probably not the greatest thing to do in the world. When I first started, really, a lot of the reason that my shoulder problems actually developed was because I was doing 100 push-ups every single night. Push-ups, 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 no pulling. It was just push-ups. I heard Herschel Walker say you got to do 30 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every day. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every day, and I'll become Herschel Walker, right? Well, it didn't quite work out that way. I wrecked my shoulder, and I'm sure that that's not the only reason that I didn't become Herschel Walker, because Herschel Walker is Herschel Walker. I'm Adam Reese. But if you're not balancing out your exercises and you're not getting a variety of pace there, it's going to be a problem. So volume. So if we go into the gym and we bench press 3 times a week, which is ridiculous, we're going to put a certain stress on the front of that shoulder, right? Like I said, everything's connected there. Your lat is highly involved in the movement of the weight when you are doing dips, bench press, chin-ups, pullovers, those kind of things. Your pec is also very involved in those exercises. The pec and the lat both connect at the front of the shoulder. If you don't want irritation there, you have to get rid of those. If you want other exercises, if you want to be able to bench someday, you might have to back away from benching to be able to come back to it later by doing exercises that actually let this heal and move in a better position, so that you can then do those at a different time. It's all about keeping the joint healthy. If you can't keep the joint healthy and you can't improve movement patterns, then there's no point in being big, because then you'll just be injured. And then once you're injured, then you're just going to slide back to where you didn't want to be anyway. So we need to be healthy. So anyway, so we've got arm delivery, we've got alignment, we've got volume, we've got exercises. And if you're wondering what kind of pressing exercises are you going to use then if we can't do bench press? And it's like, well, there's tons of different pressing exercises that we can do. Easy go-tos would be push-up variations, landmine variations would be another one. You could just slow down the exercise and do tons of isometrics, which is extremely good for you. There's a lot of different things we can do in the pressing department. Besides, we really don't need to press all that much, especially when the arm is a little funky. It's probably not the greatest idea in the whole entire world. So exercises there. Now we got to talk about recovery. This is the big one. If you're not recovering, you're not getting anything out of your exercise anyway. You do not get stronger in the gym. You do not lose weight in the gym. You do not gain muscle in the gym. You are in the gym to cause a stress that actually does the opposite of those things. And then your body recovers from it later, giving you those things. So you get the muscle, you get the fat loss, and you get the strength gain, and you get all the health benefits when you're relaxing, when you're laughing, when you're eating, when you're sleeping. The recovery side of things is extremely important. So anyway, that pain in the front of your shoulder that a lot of people are dealing with, sometimes it's super, super simple. And sometimes, most of the time, you are not a candidate for physical therapy. You're definitely not a candidate for surgery. You can definitely get out of that very easily. And I'm kind of like butting up against, the Venn diagram of where my scope is between that and physical therapy. But the exercises that we do at Grit aren't going into physical therapy land. They're using physical therapy land to try to help the joint be stronger so that then you can get more out of the exercise that you do or that you are about to do. And then the joint is stronger. It's all like the whole thing is joint health first. Like what's the point of being skinny if you're injured? What's the point of looking great if you feel like crap? And why would we sacrifice one for the other? Like, why wouldn't we look great and feel great? It's just so silly. But a lot of time you see that people are very, I'd like to say they're just confused about the topic. But anyway, if you thought that this was interesting and you would like to learn more, go ahead and click the link below. You can also leave a comment down below. Like I said, I just happen to be somebody that I don't know why. I really don't know why I am such a curious person, but also I don't know who gave me this information that, hey, if you got a problem in your life, just go learn everything you possibly can about that problem and hire coaches and do all this stuff. And it'll probably go better. I don't know who told me that, but man, I'm sure glad that they did. But anyway, click the link below. Our brand promise, or whatever you want to call it, is that we can help you feel better than you did 10 years ago in under 10 weeks. And I'm confident in that enough that I can say that we'll just give you your money back if that is not the case. It is the most common thing that we've heard in Grit Gym. They're like, you know what? You know why I come here? I come here because I feel better now than I did 10 years ago. We hear that all the time. And usually it's a lot less than 10 weeks. So if you're interested in feeling better than you did 10 years ago, and you want to work out with people that are probably more like you, that they're, like most of our people are in their 50s. They're not really interested in running around in a bikini anymore. They definitely they want joint health. They want to play with their grandkids, their future grandkids. They want to be able to do the things that they always did. They want to have fun while they're doing it. They want to be kept accountable to the thing. That's our job. Our delivery method is humor, expertise, accountability, and community. So we want to build a community around within each one of you, because that way you'll all hold each other accountable. Like how much more likely are you to get to your workout if your friends are like, hey, where are you? Shooting you a text and you're like, I'm there, I'm coming, right? So anyway, if you'd like more about your shoulder, go ahead and ask me questions in the comments. If you'd like to come in for your one-time free consultation, definitely click below. We try to pack as much as we possibly can into that 1 hour. We'll do a full-blown assessment, and we'll walk you through some exercises that when you get done, you'll be able to move forward. Even if you don't sign up at Grit Gym, we want you to sign up, but even if you don't, hey, no harm, no foul. I understand it's not for everybody. And if you find that it's not for you, at least we got to help on some level. And I would just much rather give something away for free like that and make your time valuable. 'Cause I absolutely detest when people just waste your time. It will not be a waste of your time to sign up for that consultation. It will definitely be helpful. I don't know if you'll be super entertained, but we'll do our best to make it fun and informative. So anyway, click the link below and we'll go over some more stuff about the shoulder in the future. All right, thanks guys.